Hey everyone, let's talk about why your budget might not be working and the very simple, mind-blowingly easy thing that you can do to fix it. So let's talk about why a weekly budget might work for you, and it might be the very thing that turns all of this around for you and helps you get on the frugal living bandwagon. Also, apologies for my voice. It does this sometimes. But first, if you're new around here, hi, my name is Lydia Senn, and I make videos on frugal and simple living. We are a debt-free family of 6. We paid off our debt in 2 years on one very tiny income and had 2 little babies at that time. Now we have 4. And I am obsessed with teaching people how to save money in a real non-judgmental way. If you're interested in that, subscribe so that you don't miss out and hit that like button and let's go. So a monthly budget is a great tool in your arsenal for getting out of debt, for meeting goals, for funding a lifestyle that you want, for funding retirement, all of those things that we want to do. But a monthly budget is just overwhelming for some people, and it's okay to admit that. It's okay to take a step back and be like, you know what? I have a hard time sticking to something for a month. Things always come along and change. I get super frustrated by that, and it spirals out of control. It is okay to say that. You know what, guys? There's no wrong or right way to do this, right? Just because someone tells you that you need to have a monthly budget, because some people budget annually, you do you. And I personally have found that it is easier to get through a block of 7 days. It is easier to commit to something for 7 days than it is for an entire month. And if you are just learning some new behaviors, bottom line, it always comes down to what works best for you. So a few reasons a weekly budget might work for you. One, you were just starting out and you were completely overwhelmed with this whole get out of debt, get your finances in order thing. No shame in that. We all start somewhere. Number 2, your financial situation is a mess. At some point, I feel like we've all been there where we don't really know what's going on, or maybe we got ourselves into a bit of a pickle and we're having to start over. Maybe there's a debt disaster. Number 3, maybe you're just bad with money and you're learning some new habits. Cool, great. A weekly budget might be just the thing that you need. And 4, maybe you're living on a very low income, or right now you're one of the 20 some odd million people collecting unemployment and you got to make that weekly unemployment stretch. A weekly budget may just be the ticket to clarity for you. Also, it's easier to manage goals when they're broken up into smaller pieces. You can easily manage your cash flow and your expenses with a 1 week at a time glance at things. So what we do is we make a monthly budget and then we break it up by week when those weekly paychecks come in. Another thing is you can give yourself a spending allowance. You're not 12 years old. I know. Giving yourself an allowance lets you know what you can spend on the things that you need, but also what you can spend on the things that you want. Because a budget that is too restrictive is going to fail. And there are times when we do need to be super strict and super limited because we're in a situation where we don't have a lot of cash flow. Maybe we've hit some sort of emergency and we need to navigate through that. But you also need to give yourself little things like going for a cup of coffee or to the Red Box or buying a lipstick. I don't know your life, but we all have something that, it's a want, but it's that small luxury that gets us through the day. The key is to keep it in check. We don't want to go wild. What's that meme that floats around right now that says you want to save $10,000 a year? That's like $27 and some odd cents a day. We can very easily spend out of control and then wonder where our money went, which is another reason why a weekly budget might be for you, because there are fewer expenses coming out every week. That means you can more easily balance that budget because you have fewer transactions to go through. So we create what we think our month is going to look like, and we have our we create on Friday. We have a really quick little budget meeting. We say, okay, how is our money doing this week? What do we need to kind of tweak? Where do we need to put money? What bills are coming in? It's a 5-minute phone call, a quick little budget meeting, boom, and then we move on to setting up that real quick weekly budget, pay our bills, and move on with our lives. Okay, so let's talk about how to set up a weekly budget. I like to break it up in a few areas. So the first area is housing / revolving bills. So that's going to be your rent or mortgage, your utilities, your water, your internet, your cell phone, your electric bill, your gas, and I mean both natural gas and gasoline if you are driving to and from work. Anything that's on auto pay, anything that comes out weekly or monthly. The second area that I like to break it down into is groceries, and that's anything. That's groceries, that's the food that your family eats, diapers, cleaning products, toiletries, dog food, like any consumable goods that you rebuy weekly. So include eating out in this, by the way. Even though eating out is separate from groceries, if I'm making a weekly budget, I will stick eating out into that category. Next thing is savings / long-term goals, and this is going to be your emergency fund, any extra savings, vacation savings, goals that you're putting your money towards, retirement, and then the last one is debt payoff. This doesn't mean that these come in any sort of hierarchy of needs. Those are just the categories that I've broken things down into. I'm going to throw out some numbers. I know these aren't your numbers. I cannot tailor this video to every single person watching. But I'm going to use $875 a week because I read that that is the most recent national average take-home pay. So let's say you bring home $875 a week and you have a rent of $1,000 a month. I know some of you are laughing hysterically like, huh, you can find a place to rent for $1,000? Cool, 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 cool. No, neither can I. Okay, so let's say that you have a take-home pay of $875 a week. You're going to take your notebook and you're going to write $875 on the top, and then you're going to break it down. So you've got your housing. Look at my serial killer handwriting. Grocery, saving / goals. So this can also just be like stuff that you want to buy, like planned purchases, and then debt. So if you have a large bill every month that exceeds your weekly take home, you're just going to take that and divide it by 4. So if your rent is $1,000 a month, you're going to take $250 out of your paycheck, and then you're going to have $625 a week to break up from there. Taking that money that you're going to need later on, you're putting it aside, and then you're using the balance to budget. And that's just a loose estimate. You may be making more a week, you may be making less, your rent may be more or less. The idea doesn't change. So you're going to take whatever that big number is, divide it by 4, subtract it from your weekly paycheck, and then go from there. If you have a 5 paycheck month, go ahead and subtract out that amount and put it towards savings, or put it towards a goal, or put it towards your emergency fund, or use it as a buffer. So if you have a 5 paycheck month, we like to actually just budget off of 4 paychecks and use that 5th paycheck to save. But if that doesn't work for you, again, it's your money and you have to be flexible. Then everything flows out from there. So you're going to subtract your grocery, and then all of your bills, and then your savings goals, and then your debt. Keep in mind, this is a weekly budget. So if your electric bill is due on the 5th, that's going to be 1 week, but your gas bill or internet isn't due until the 15th or the 22nd, you can break that bill out of that paycheck and not have to worry about totaling everything up for the week and then being short. Also, if you have a weekly budget and you have a smaller income, doing this allows you to put a little bit at a time towards that debt payoff or those savings goals, because small steps still matter. If you only have $25 a week that you can put into savings, at the end of the year, that's still $1,300. And while $1,300 may not seem like a lot, it is better than zero. If you can only put $25 extra a week towards your debt, it's still going to get paid off eventually. This is called the snowflake method, when you put just a little bit at a time towards something and you chip away at it. There's no shame in that. That's what we had to do until we really could get the ball rolling, until we got our income up, until we learned how to budget. This is new territory for a lot of people, and I don't want you to look at somebody who's paying off like 6 figures in a year and feel completely discouraged, shut down, and think that it will never happen for you, because it will. It may take longer. The road may be harder. That means it's going to mean more. Okay, so I hope these tips helped you and it wasn't completely confusing. Leave me a comment below and tell me what's your budgeting style. Remember, there is no wrong way. There's no one methodology that's going to be perfect for you. I feel like you need to take the advice that works, filter it out, and then just throw the rest of it away, and don't let that become a source of stress and anxiety. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in my next video. Voice again, getting all ratchety in this video. Seasonal allergies are awesome. I have Googled, is it seasonal allergies or the Rona, like 15 times. People walking. You know, you've been in quarantine way too long when you get excited about people walking. Have a good day.